What's happening, everyone? Hope you're having a fantastic day. Just wanted to come to you today to talk a little bit about VA and the myths surrounding VA. And I'm going to just talk on a couple points. This will probably stretch out over several videos because there are several myths that need to be squashed when it comes to the myths out there that are kind of swirling around and revolving VA loans. I have been under an immense amount of passion to shout it from the rooftops that veterans deserve the right to learn and to understand the program revolving around the VA home financing program, allowing the veteran to come in using their eligibility at the time that they served in the military to be able to qualify for a home and be able to get that zero down, be able to have that with no mortgage insurance. There is a funding fee, and we'll get into some specifics about it, but it's in a fantastic loan, and I want to squash a couple myths today and bring to light some things that I think are some misunderstandings and maybe just some confusion around it. Still seeing real estate agents on the listing and the buying side, turning down VA loans, a VA loan offer being presented, and they basically speaking for the seller saying they don't want anything to do with it because maybe they had a bad experience around a VA transaction. And so it's my goal today to hopefully enlighten you, to inform you, to educate you in regards to that, at least in a couple of these myths. But first I want to talk a little bit about statistics. I'm going to read you something that I think was interesting. 66% of veterans who had a home reported they used the VA Home Loan Guarantee Program, which is awesome, and that's nationwide. 33% of veterans that have a mortgage indicated they did not know about the VA program. So we've got still a lot of work to do, guys, in regards to that. And 46% of veterans reported their lender had not even brought up the VA loan option. It's my first and foremost task anytime I'm talking to a borrower to always ask, are you or your spouse a veteran? Because again, it is something, the loan is available, the loan program is available to all veterans that qualify. And we want to make sure that we're asking the right questions in order to do that. So let's talk about the first myth. The first myth means zero down equals weaker buyer. And, that is absolutely not the case at all. When I started digging into this and educating myself many years ago and still continuing to educate myself, I'm all about statistics and looking at what is actually going on with stats. And, they took two loans, FHA and VA, put them side by side, and basically broke down the median FICO score for an FHA loan, which was 672, and the median FICO score for a VA loan is 736. So a weaker buyer is just not the case. When it comes to statistics, they're breaking it down and showing you that the VA loan and the VA borrower is much stronger than other government programs. When it comes to that, the median household income for a veteran is $90,000 compared to $68,000 for FHA, and the average loan amount was $232. Of course, this is nationwide versus $304 for the VA borrower. So that myth is just not true. Being that it's zero down equals weaker buyer, not the case at all. When you have an average FICO score of 736, the average veteran has money in the bank, assets in the bank. It's just that veteran served the time and earned that benefit, and they should be and have the rights to be able to have access to that benefit. So we should be asking borrowers if they are or their spouse is a veteran. The second myth that we're going to talk about is that VA loans are harder to get through underwriting. That is also not the case. VA loan is handled, 98% of lenders are set up on an automated underwriting system. So the Fannie Mae underwriting system, the Ginnie Mae underwriting system actually will underwrite the file based on credit, based on income, debt ratio, all of that, and will approve the loan. And so the underwriter is strictly just following the findings depending on your lender. So if the findings spit out the approval with conditions, the underwriter is merely just collecting those conditions, which are standard on a VA loan versus an FHA loan. They're requiring the same income, the C's that we've talked about: credit, capacity, collateral. And obviously it's a zero down loan if the veteran chooses to take advantage of that. So there isn't necessarily any capital that others see that would be required in that particular situation, unless the DU findings would want assets and those types of things. But again, It is not a harder loan to get through underwriting. It is something that is literally, when I look at my VA loans, my FHA loans, conventional loans, it takes the exact same time. When it comes to underwriting, the amount of conditions that come out, it really just comes down to education. The lender being educated, the loan officer and the processor being educated, making sure that they're getting all their ducks in a row, ordering the certificate of eligibility up front early before the pre-approval process, making sure that that veteran is eligible and able to take advantage of their veteran. That should be taken care of in the pre-approval process. So if a lot of those things are taken care of, it really is just going through the process. The last and final myth we're going to talk about today is that VA loans take too long. I will tell you the average VA from start to finish, the average is 48 days. That may be acceptable, unacceptable to you, but if you work with a lender that understands what they're doing, it should not take 48 days at all. Actually, in comparison to conventional, it was within 5 days of the average time of a conventional loan. So again, guys, we've had bad experiences in the past, and I want you to disconnect yourself from those bad experiences, because with the proper lender that understands the VA loan process, they can get that veteran through the process and get them approved and get the appraisal ordered. And again, we'll get into some other myths and around appraisals and those types of things in another video. But I wanted to at least bring out 3 myths that we can bust, squash, put to rest, and understand that number 1, 0 down does not equal weak buyer. We've already squashed that. Number 2, the VA loans are harder to get through underwriting. That is also not the case. And number 3 is that VA loans take longer to close from start to finish than any other loan. We also understand that is not the case. Even if you're going by the average, guys, 48 days, I mean, most banks are closing normal loans, at least in my area anyway, anywhere between 45 to 60 days because of their process, especially during the busy times. Things were taking 60 and even 65, 70 days for banks to get things closed. So a lender should be able to close a VA loan in a ample time of 30 days or less. Depending on all the circumstances. Again, that process can be narrowed down to how cooperative the borrower is, how good and educated the loan officer is, how organized the lending company is in getting those things done. So anyhow, I hope that's been helpful to you. Until the next myth busting video, have a great day and bye for now.